Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is David here. Have you ever wondered how fast the new iPhone 6s is compared to last year's iPhone 6? Or how fast the iPhone 6s is to the iPad mini first generation? Well, in this video, you guys are going to find out with the ultimate mega speed test. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get started. So as you guys can see, I am on my iPhone 5 and I have Geekbench loaded up, but something's different because I don't actually have my iPhone 5 anymore. So I actually gave it away so that I can get my 6S. I traded it in. So in a sense, this is basically bringing back the iPhone 5 from the dead. I actually took this video previously before I actually had to give it in to Verizon, before I had to give the phone into Verizon. But as you guys can see, we ran the Geekbench and it got a score of single core 705 and multi-core 1276. And if you want to see how the iPhone 5 stacks up, in other aspects with opening up Safari pages and opening up games and YouTube videos, go ahead and go down in the description below where I compared the iPhone 5 and the iPod Touch 6th generation. But you guys can see that, this definitely, obviously, is not the best score in the entire world. And you guys will be able to see that there are going to be much higher scores later on in this video. But this is the iPhone 5, and I thought this would be kind of cool to have this in here. So that's what it looks like. Rest in peace, iPhone 5. Let's go ahead and get started with the rest of the video. Okay guys, so this is going to be a pretty interesting video to say the least. First up, we have the iPhone 6 from last year, the space gray model, so that's what that looks like. We have this year's iPhone 6s in gold, so that's what that looks like. We have this year's iPod Touch 6th generation in blue. And we have 2012's iPad mini first generation in the white and silver model. So this is definitely going to be a very, very interesting video. So now let's take a little bit of time to talk about the technology found within each device. So now from left to right, we have Apple's previous generation phone, the iPhone 6, sporting an A8 processor with an M8 coprocessor. Then right next to that, we have Apple's all-new current iPhone 6s, sporting an A9 processor with an M9 coprocessor. Then the iPod Touch 6th generation that has, unbelievably, the same processor as the iPhone 6, which is the A8 processor and the M8 coprocessor. Last but not least, we have the iPad mini first generation that is actually sporting the A5 processor. So right now we're going to just go ahead and take all of our other devices besides the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6s and just put them over to the side. So we're going to go ahead and take the iPad mini off, and we're going to go ahead and take the iPod Touch off. And now we have both the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6s. So right now we're just going to do a Touch ID, little test, because I have heard that Touch ID 2.0 is in the iPhone 6s and it should work faster. That wasn't really a fair test because I didn't have my fingerprint on there right. But as you guys can see, there you go. The 6S opens up blazing fast as the 6 lags a little bit behind. So we're going to go ahead and show you guys that again. If I can get it to work and not, not be able to recognize my fingerprint on the 6. Alright, so you guys can see that obviously the 6S went ahead and got out on top as the 6 was slower than the 6S in Touch ID recognition. Alright guys, so without any further ado, the test we've all been waiting for, the benchmark test. So I've Geekbench 3 opened up on all these specific devices. Again, from left to right, they are as follows: the iPad mini, the iPhone 6s, the iPhone 6, and the iPod Touch 6th generation. So we're going to go ahead and run the benchmark test on each specific device now. So you guys are going to see that, certain devices are going to finish before other devices. So right out of the gate, the iPhone 6s finishes up with a single core score of 2517 and a multi-core score of 4372. Then comes the iPhone 6 at 1608 single core, 2863 multi-core. Then the iPod Touch 6th generation at 1383 single core and 2441 multi-core. And then the iPad mini was taking so long that I was actually able to go ahead and get the iPad mini case from the, and sorry, I didn't mean to do all that. that actually kind of happened by accident. Thank God that didn't break any of the devices. But anyway, so yeah, so make sure if you're doing this at home, make sure that you're doing this on a sturdy surface and it's not just going to automatically fall over. But the score is just atrocious. We finished with a score of 260 single core and 493 multi-core. So that's a lot less than the iPhone 6s, than the iPhone 6, or than the iPod Touch 6th generation. So while you could say the comparison of an A5 device is a bit unfair, it also poses a really interesting question in how does it stack up against the newer 64-bit architecture devices. Obviously, we looked at the benchmark tests that each of the different devices got, and the A5 device, which is the iPad mini, is nowhere near more powerful than any of the devices that we have. But in terms of what device actually won this round, I would definitely have to say the iPhone 6s for sure. So now we have the Safari test. So we're going to go ahead and open up apple.com on each of these devices to see which loads it faster. So we're going to try our best to do it, within a few milliseconds and try not to make it delay. Obviously, the iPhone 6s was super fast in opening the page up, and the iPad mini followed suit because obviously we, opened it next on there. And then after that, we saw the iPod Touch and then the iPhone. So now we're going to load up the iPhone section of apple.com. So we're going to go ahead and go over to do that now. So we'll show you guys that. If I can actually get to it, that'd be nice. So there it is. Let's go over to where it says iPhone. And you guys can see, obviously, the iPhone 6s was able to load faster. Now, this is kind of a little bit of a harder test to do just because I have so many devices and I only have so many hands, and it's hard for me to, tap the screen of, 4 different devices at the exact same time with only 2 hands. So, unfortunately, I wish I, had someone else to do this with. So, last but not least, we have the app test. So this is actually going to be pretty cool. So we're going to actually play a YouTube video. So we're going to go ahead and launch YouTube on each separate device. So this is the first part of the app test, playing a video through YouTube. So because I don't want to get any copyright notices or copyright strikes, I'm going to go ahead and use my original work. So I'm going to search for Apple Attack. So I couldn't actually do it in good enough time. I tried to search for it via dictation, but for whatever reason, it just wasn't working correctly. So I skipped ahead. I cut part of the video out so you guys wouldn't be waiting forever, but it was kind of hard to see that. So the iPhone 6s obviously loaded the video up faster than, all the other devices, and you guys could see, I don't know, it's obvious, obviously, that the iPhone 6s would load everything up faster and would do everything faster and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm really liking the fact that the 6S is smooth, it's fast, it's everything. Everything is 100% perfect with this. So now we're going to go ahead and back out of YouTube on all the devices and go ahead and find Zigzag on the home screen of all of our devices. So we're going to go ahead and run Zigzag, which is a really fun game. It's free, it's available on the App Store. If you have some extra time and you want some time to kill and you want a fun game to play, I would definitely recommend this one. So as you guys could see, we're going to go ahead and launch Zigzag, and the iPad kind of lagged behind in opening up the application, and the iPhone 6s was the first one to actually launch it fully, and you guys could see the iPad mini is still loading it, and it just, as soon as I said that, it just loaded it up, but it was still loading it when all the devices actually had it up for, I would say, probably a good 2 to 3 or maybe even 4 or 5 seconds. So obviously, since I didn't, launch this game on some of the devices beforehand, like my iPad mini, it's giving me some Game Center alert pop-ups on some of the devices. So I'm going to go ahead and just, press to play and show you guys what it looks like. So obviously there was really no telling which one, was on which thing, because I died on each thing because I wasn't, keeping my finger on it. So I am actually going to play it on both the iPhone 6s and the iPhone 6 to kind of just, give you guys a feel of what looks a little bit better. It was kind of hard to, to do this for you guys because obviously, it's kind of hard to see it. So we're going to slide the iPad mini and the iPod Touch out of the way, and now we have the iPhone 6s and the iPhone 6. So first I'm going to play on the iPhone 6s. You guys can see I could die there very easily. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and hit retry. I haven't played this game in a little while, but yeah, so now I'm over on the iPhone 6. So we're going to go ahead and show you guys this, and I don't know if you could tell, but it is giving off a little bit of lag. It's, you know, a little bit laggier than it was on the iPhone 6s. It was running a lot smoother on the iPhone 6s, and on the iPhone 6, it feels like it was just lagging up a little bit. So that is very interesting. Alright guys, so really fast, before we go ahead and wrap up this video, I wanted to go ahead and show you guys what firmware I'm running on one specific device. So on my iPhone 6s, I'm running iOS 9. On my iPhone 6, I'm running iOS 9.0.1. On my iPod Touch 6th generation, I am running 8.4 jailbroken. And on my iPad mini, I am running iOS 8.4 jailbroken. So there you go, guys. Alright guys, thanks for watching. That's it for this video. I hoped you guys liked this video and it was informative on which devices came out on top. If you want to see a similar video that I made a few months back where I compared the iPhone 5 to the iPod Touch 6th generation, then make sure to go down in the description below where I will have a link to watch that video. There should also be a card that will pop up right now for mobile users. I just made a new Snapchat for YouTube. Go friend me. I will have a Snapchat card on my outro that you guys can scan and add me with. So if you add me, you will get exclusive content where you will not be able to see anywhere else. Also, make sure to become a fellow attacker and follow me on my Twitter, and go check out my Facebook fan page to get notified about when I upload a new video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Catch you in the next one. This is David, signing out. Peace.